On today's show, all three brokers discuss acquisitions, whether for end users or for personal use. Very interesting. Also, we talk about the upcoming show, NamesCon in Portugal, starting in about 2 weeks. The discount code, if you're looking for one, is DREW399, so that your tickets are €399. That is €150 off. Sure hope to see you there. Enjoy the show. Hey, Sherpa Network. I'm Tess Diaz, executive producer of DomainSherpa.com, and today is the Domain Sherpa Review. This is a show where we get into the minds of successful domain name investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become better investors ourselves. We have 3 segments to the review. We'll start off learning what the Sherpas recently bought or sold. Next, we'll discuss in value an investor-submitted domain name portfolio. And finally, we'll preview some domains going to auction soon at NameJet.com and whether the Sherpas think they're a good investment opportunity for you. Joining us today on the Domain Sherpa Review are 3 past Sherpas and industry thought leaders. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. How about you introduce yourselves today? Joe, you're up.
Hi, my name is Joe Uddeme. I've been a domain broker for about 11 and a half years. I love what I do. I do proactive end user outreach for seller side and also buy side acquisition. Great to see everybody again. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Joe. How about you, Hobi?
My name is Hobi. I am co-founder of Loomis. I've been a domain broker for going on 6 years now. Assist with, similar to Joe, buying and selling domain names on behalf of clients. And ecstatic to be here again.
Nice to have you, yeah. And you, sir, who are you?
Oh, man, I don't even know. I don't know who I am or what I am, where I am. Andrew Rosener, CEO of Media Auctions. And, yeah, domain brokerage firm. We've, I think we're going on, this will be our 12th year, so not exactly the same as Joe, actually. I think we started almost exactly the same time. And at least from the domain brokerage aspect. And yeah, I don't know, I wear a lot of hats, so.
Well, thanks for being here, all the same. So let's start out. We're gonna look at what's new, what you've recently purchased or sold, and we wanna learn what you paid or received for the domain, why you thought it was a good deal, and how the negotiations progressed. So say the domain without the price, and the other Sherpas will guess. Joe, you are up first.
All right, so a name that was recently acquired by one of my clients, the name was Rockefeller.org. Rockefeller.org.
Rockefeller.org.
Yeah.
That's a big name.
Yeah.
Hobi, Drew, what do you think? So,
Okay. Are you over to go?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. Rockefeller.org. I mean, I have to laugh because we've been trying to sell Getty.com for, 2 years. And I mean, it's a very special situation with that name, but still, it's kind of the same vein. And I don't know. I'm gonna say $25,000. It just feels like the number to me, but I don't know. That could be way low. It could also be way high. I really don't know. But 25 feels right.
all right, what do you think, Hobi?
That's a pretty powerful .org. I mean, I'm not even from New York, and I can feel the presence of that name, even though it's a .org. But I think that actually conveys a pretty good message with that. If it was on behalf of a client, probably an end user purchase then. I mean, most definitely. So I think maybe as high as 50. I think 20 might be a little low, maybe like 35, 45K on that one.
Well, you're all over the place. You got to pick a number.
All right,
Pick a number, man.
All right, let's do 45 then. $45,000 I think you paid. $45,000 plus escrow fee. How about that?
Okay, so how about we go right in the middle? So Drew says 25, Hobi says 45. We'll go right in the middle and do 35. So 35K is a good price for both sides. I think the buyer was happy with the price. I think the seller was happy with the price.
Yeah.
And it took a little time to get done, but both parties seemed pretty happy and good number.
How long? When you say it took some time to get done, how long? I asked
Soup to nuts, 3.5 months.
Sorry, say?
3.5 months,
Yep.
approximately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and
I
some,
just think
yeah, go ahead.
that's super good info because, like, you know, I'm sure you get asked the same question, but it's like when we get, you know, somebody who's interested in a domain acquisition, that's like, you know, there's not that many variables in the domain acquisition that they can ask about. But one of the most important ones that they ask is, you know, what's the time frame on this, right? And each deal is different. Every domain thing is different. But I think, you know, being able to always give, you know, some insight about, you know, the life cycle of these types of deals and the time frame it takes. People don't realize that, you know, it can take a long time.
Sure.
The only way to shorten that life cycle is if you want to just reach down further in your pocket. And sometimes that doesn't even matter.
It's true. You know, you have a lot of moving parts internally, contracts back and forth. It could be any number of things that could tie the process down for sure, as you guys all know.
And Joe, tell me a little about the negotiation. I'm wondering, you know, there are a limited number of buyers for something like Rockefeller.org. I assume that's not trademarked, but all the same, a limited number of buyers. So a seller...
Probably 100,000 trademarks, actually, if I had to guess.
Okay, the other way around. All right. So, I mean, a seller is only going to get so many offers in a lifetime. And they need to understand that when they're, you know, setting their pricing expectations. How did that part of the negotiations go?
It's interesting that you asked. This was a stealth acquisition. This was a name that we were buying for our client. So the client came in specifically looking for that particular name. They had trademarks attached to the name, as Prue mentioned. There are a lot of trademarks around that name. So it was just the perfect fit for the brand. So there wasn't really much on my side that kind of went into it to proactively sell. This was a specific name for our client.
Okay, yeah. And the buyer, did they have reasonable pricing expectations, or, I mean, the seller?
I had to help set the expectation with them, but I think that they were receptive once they kind of understood, you know, what it was probably going to take to make something happen.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
I'm on the website. And so it was the Rockefeller Foundation, which, you know, obviously public information now. I guess it's they're forwarding the domain to the website. But yeah, obviously that's the single best buyer for that domain, for sure.
Congrats. That's a good acquisition.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know why. I even when it's not, I got nothing to do with the deal. It really makes me sincerely happy. I think just after being in the industry so long and being told, you know, no so many times, and you know, so you so often, you know, that you found the perfect buyer for a name, and they still just don't get their head around it, and they say no, and you think this is such a mistake, you know. So when I see like that just magic come together, where it's a perfect buyer, perfect name, especially when it's somebody that's like, you know, they've been around for forever. Rockefeller Foundation's, you know, probably going on 50, 70 years. And, you know, they finally got the name they should own. It's just, it's a great thing. I think that's just good for the whole industry. It's like the more pieces of the puzzle we place into the right position, the faster the whole thing comes together. And so the more perfect buyers get their perfect name, the more it emphasizes to the whole ecosystem that, yes, these names are valuable. Yes, the best companies own the best version of their brand. So it's good. Congrats. It's a great deal.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, Hobi, what have you been up to?
All right. So I have like 3 I wrote down, but I was still figuring I was going to decide by now which one I was going to talk about. But I've come to the decision, talk about BlueWireless.com. It's BLU wireless.com.
Okay, sale or acquisition?
This is a sale? Yeah.
This was an acquisition, so I helped a client to acquire this name.
Okay, no pressure, Drew, but we're at 2 acquisitions. I got some expectations for you. All right, Hobi, bluewireless.com. That is a very specific acquisition, spelt that way. Drew, Joe, you want to guess the price before we get into the details?
Sure. Drew, go ahead if you're ready.
I'm not. I mean, these are the tricky ones, right? It's like Blue Wireless inherently has zero value. That is a worthless domain name. If it was BLUE, it would be slightly above worthless. However, once somebody says this is going to be my brand, and the domain owner has prior rights to the name before the company and any trademark or other IP they might have, well, then suddenly that company has basically assigned a value to a name that otherwise had no value. And that's when it gets both very tricky and very interesting. So I think that my guess is that that's like a $15,000 acquisition. But and my reasoning for throwing that number out there, just because it's not completely out of the blue, which although kind of, is that like if it was like $5,000 or less, they probably would have bought it themselves, or maybe they just could never get a hold of it. There's so many variables here. But just as I'm going through the quick 30-second process in my mind, it's like, well, it's probably over $10,000, and I also kind of pulled that number up because I had somebody else hire us recently to buy another domain that was like Blue something else, but BLUE, totally unrelated. And the owner wanted $55,000, and then we got it down to like 20, and we ended up actually not buying the name because I was like, honestly, guys, this is a nice to have, not a need to have, and I just honestly think that that's an absurd price, and so they didn't buy it. So my guess is that 10, 15,000 range. So I'll say 15.
All right, 15. How about you, Joe?
I'll go a little bit under that number. I'm going to say 12.5. I think it's a good brand. Again, it's a brandable domain. There's no other value other than to the inherent value to the guy that bought it. So I'll go 12.5 there.
Okay. So the final price on that was $15,000. So you guys were on the money on that one, yeah? Nice. It started a lot higher, but yeah, we landed at 15.
Well, just out of curiosity, where do they start?
They started around I think it was 30. I had to confirm that it was 30, and it took a bit of work because the original offer was actually sub $5,000 original budget on it. So I had to work with both parties to actually obviously make something happen on that one.
Just a random question, probably politically incorrect. Was the owner Korean?
No, unless it was an alias that I was communicating with. But as far as my research could pull, that this was an American. But I know exactly what you're getting at on that. There are a couple investors out of Korea and a couple out of Vietnam, but obviously China, that actually have domains similar to that from a branding standpoint.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, on what basis?
Huge portfolios of those types of names, and they ask crazy prices, and they must get them, otherwise they wouldn't.
I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I have words.
Yeah.
Don't hold back.
I wish these guys would come to NamesCon or something. There's 3 guys that I know in Seoul, Korea, that have huge portfolios of nothing particularly valuable, but huge portfolios, tens of thousands of names. And they're these random 2-word.coms that are a color and an animal, or a color and a product, or a service, or just weird random 2-word.com.
Yep.
Totally random. And they've owned them since the 90s. And it's just always been so curious to me, because it's they were buying these names at a time when they probably could have bought 1-word.coms and otherwise really valuable liquid names. But they must be making money, because otherwise they would have lowered their prices by now. And so they must be making sales, and there must be people paying these prices. And so it's interesting. And I'd love to meet some of these guys, because it's what made you buy, whatever, Blue Wireless in 98?
And keep renewing it all these years.
Yeah.
And where did you get the like gusto to put $55,000 in asking
Or
price?
$125,000.
Yeah.
No interest in considering a $55,000 offer.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
This is
And it's literally no word. It's like, you know, Rick Schwartz type replies. Just no, thank you. No, just no. Well, but why justify that price to me? No. You have a higher offer? No.
It'd be
And
cheaper to
this-
fly there and meet them and try to get a deal done.
Yeah. I really sincerely love to meet some of these guys.
No.
All right,
I
let's
was doing
see who
fun.
can get him on the show.
Good luck.
And I think this is, you know, I know the same portfolios that you're talking about on my end. And I think that this really points to the value of working with a broker when we can tell you, hey, this domain isn't worth it. Maybe you should walk away. Or with this seller, either this is what you're going to pay or you need to look at something else. And I think that because it's such an uncharted waters, this entire industry, you know, we can really save people not only a lot of money, but a lot of time in their entire process. Because like Hobi, it sounds like they'd already decided on Blue Wireless. What if it was owned by those folks and they didn't know that from the get-go? And that's why it's nice when we're involved in the process a lot sooner.
They're not understanding why their $20,000 offer is not being acknowledged or replied to. Like, well, here's why.
Yeah. And especially if they've wasted, you know, 6 months thinking they can do it on their own. And, you know, there's a reason that there are brokers in every industry. You can go buy a house on your own without a broker too, but might not go.
I use a broker for my house. So I do acknowledge the utility and the usefulness of brokers across a variety of fields.
Nice. You learn anything from
I learned a lot. 100%. It's like, well, you don't want a house there. You don't want this. This makes there's definitely value, and things change every quarter, every year. You know, things are completely different. So.
Yeah, it's true. So, so BlueWireless.com, you had to set expectations with the buyer and the seller on pricing. How long did that take you?
So the entire from talking to the buyer, negotiating with the seller, and actually reaching a deal in escrow, which finished I think about a month ago. But the entire process took 3 months, give or take.
Okay, so both of you were at 3 months. All right, that's good to know. All right, Mr. Rosener, what's new, Sherpa? Okay, I would like to say to anyone watching the show and me for the first time, this is not the best representation.
No. Well, I'm a little bit torn. I would like to talk about Walrus. No, I'm not gonna. I don't remember if I signed something
like that.
Well, I signed a contract. I don't remember if it had a confidentiality clause. So I'll avoid it. All right. I bought a fun name. For me, I love it. Shaman.org.
Oh.
Shaman.org. I'm going to talk about this one because I have no intention of ever selling it for any price.
So shaman.org, you acquired it, and it's for your personal portfolio.
Yeah. So actually, this is actually going to be for me personally, like not even media options. This is actually like, I'm buying this name. This is me personally buying this. I love this name. Yeah.
All right. So now that you've shared how emotionally invested you are, let's see if that affected your pricing. What do you guys think you paid?
Well, since you bought it for yourself, the immediate thing that I can think of when you say shaman, it's .org, I honestly think of like cannabis, like medical marijuana, because that was the medicine man, the healing powers of the shaman, you know, the rain dance and all that good stuff. So if you're buying it for yourself and you stated that you have no interest in selling it, did you pay $10K for it?
7,500.
Find out. We'll find out.
7,500, no more.
7,500, no more.
And that's a lot. It was probably 6,500, but 7,500 is well.
All right, $5,000.
Yeah,
$5,000.
yeah.
Okay,
That
okay.
sounds more like it. Yeah, it's a
Okay,
good buy.
yeah.
Very good buy. Great
Sure.
name.
Yeah, I don't think
Great
it's
name.
like a screaming deal, but it's a really unique name. I personally know that the .com is unobtainable for basically any price, and it is a very timely name, and is directly related to some projects that I'm working on. So I was pretty excited to get it, and it just dropped into my lap. And it's so funny because I was looking back at my notes, and I tried to buy this name years ago. Never got a response. Sent three emails, never got a response.
Did you
I
make an
had
offer
multiple
years ago?
conversations. I did.
How much?
Less, like $1,000. I had multiple conversations with the .com owner over many years of time. You know, multiple, let's say, instances or positions of the company, both with success and failure. They just won't sell. So I was pretty pumped. This thing dropped in my lap, and I was like, "Whoa! I'll take it." So yeah, pretty excited about it. I like it.
Well, it's a shaman too, because it's the first thing it conveys is it helps people, and that's obviously a .org. So
Yeah,
it
totally.
works on that one.
Totally. And I just think that there's a huge undercurrent, a movement towards away from modern medicine. And there's outside of just, hallucinogens and mind-altering substances.
It's not what I was saying, but I get what you're
thinking. Always. There is a very real and tangible trend towards alternative medicine, alternative health. That's what, whether it's, and understanding that all of these things are connected: mental health, physical health, gut health, diet, exercise, like your whole life, everything that you do is connected to your health. And, I think that this sort of more ancient, perspective on health that was traditionally, managed by a shaman, is, I think that's a big trend.
Good name, for sure.
It is. And, the .org, it does add that credibility of, helping people, like Hobi said. But I also feel like because some people still kind of, aren't so sure about all this, the .org really extra adds that, like, it's like a bow tie.
Like a bow tie. I like that.
Yeah.
I think that should
like
be
Rockefeller.org.
What is it? Public interest registry? No, who's the .org?
Public interest. Public interest.
Yeah. I feel like that should be their slogan. .org. It's like a bow tie. It's like a bow tie on your brand. That should literally be the slogan for .org.
They can take the O and make it into a bow tie.
They should make a trade with every time they use it.
Nice. Well, congrats,
Bow
Drew.
tie on your brand. I love that.
That's a great acquisition and a great domain name for your projects. And it's too bad you don't ever want to sell it, because I think there are people out there who'd pay a lot of money for it.
Yep. That's what they said about Drew.com. Ask Justin Bieber how I feel about it.
What?
But Justin Bieber launched a whole clothing line called Drew. He has a whole clothing line. It's like he's always doing now is he has a clothing line, a huge fashion line called Drew. And the logo is just a smiley face. I think some kind of, I don't know if it's smiley face or something else, but it's like a smiley face, and it says Drew. That's it. It just says Drew. And his whole clothing line, Drew. And we had like a law firm approach us, so I'm sure Bieber was the one behind it. And I was like, look, I don't think you understand. Like, everything I have in my life, I can attribute to domain names. Domains is kind of my thing. And like my life's work was to get Drew.com. and like you're gonna have to rip it from my cold dead hand, and like
So visual.
it's just it ain't gonna happen. And they were like, making a decent offer, and I was like, look, I'm sorry, I don't know how else to tell you this, but like, get the fuck out of here.
How many times can I say no? How many ways can I say no?
Yeah.
So is that the note I should write?
Punch Bieber in the nose, live on camera, and like do that in front of like a pay-per-view audience on HBO, and I want like 70% cut on the revenue. I would do that.
Do you think this?
I would do that. That's the deal.
Yeah, we need
Bieber,
some expectations set here.
HBO pay-per-view, you and me. I'm gonna punch you in the nose for just being a horrible human being, and that's it. And then you can have Drew.com.
Wow. Well, I know what to get you for your birthday. I'm looking at the clothes right now.
An anger management course?
No, I'm going to get you the Drew Smiley.
A smiley, right? Exactly. That's a perfect birthday present.
Yeah. So fitting.
All right, let's do this. Let me tell you about our sponsors for today's show who support us in our mission, and then we'll jump into the next segment, okay?
First, serious about online trading? Secure your funds, keep your merchandise safe, and use a company that keeps the buyer and seller protected the whole way through. That's escrow.com. Payments you can trust.
All right. In the domain portfolio review, we take user-submitted domain name portfolios and provide honest and constructive feedback to the owners so they can cut their losses, continue to hold them long-term, or figure out a sales strategy going forward. Today's portfolio was submitted by Ron A, and it is almost all .coms with, at the end, we've got a .cash, .online, .li, .online, and a .net.im, but I don't know how much attention that'll get. So Drew, you're up first. What are your thoughts on this, on Ron's list here?
I'm just realizing that none of those other extension domains even show up in the thing I hold here.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm just looking at those real quick, and none of them would be even slightly interesting to me. Okay, so it's not the worst portfolio we've had on the show, so that's a good thing. I don't love anything on here, but there are a few names that I like. My favorite name on this list is gotees.com. And I only like it, even though it doesn't pass the radio test, because I think most people would probably spell it the way, goatee, like G-O-T-E-E-S.
But this is like coffee and tea, but plural. Go teas. T-E-A-S.
Exactly, like go teas. It's kind of a cool play on words. It could be a brand for a tea company. And I think I've even said before on this show that like tea is pretty hot, and it's really hard to find good tea domains. And I think that that's a unique one. I don't think it would be immediately obvious to all the people in the world trying to think about a brand for a tea company, but I think it's good. So assuming he got it for cheap or for $9, hopefully, I think it's a great name. I think, it's a long-term hold that could pop off for 10 to 25 grand, but just to be clear, like it has virtually zero liquidity, right? So it's not worth 10 to 25 grand. It's worth that when somebody makes a decision that that's going to be the name of their company, and somebody like Joe or Hobi or myself come knocking on your door and say, I've got a client that wants your name. And then it's worth probably $10,000 to $25,000, just like we've demonstrated with the two acquisitions we've talked about here. So I like that one. That's probably my favorite name on the list. Beyond that, I like emergingartist.com. I think that actually has more liquid value than the other one. But
so you'd price that with a buy it now?
Yeah, I think emerging artists, it's probably like 5, 7, 10 grand tops. I probably wouldn't price it above like $9,888. I
Okay.
think you're probably going to sell it faster in the 5, 6 range, 7 range. But you know, I think that's it's a good name. You know, there's investments in art are growing. Investments in artist royalties is growing. You know, being like seeking alpha for, you know, the art industry could be an interesting play for that type of thing. So I like it. I think it's a decent name. I'm actually talking myself into maybe even putting a higher valuation on it. But you know, but don't get crazy.
Don't get crazy. Advice from Drew Rosener.
And that's about it. You know, vaping extracts, I'll comment on, just because everybody always expects me to comment on cannabis related to me. But
you bought Shaman now, come on.
There's too many other ways to say it. Vape extracts, vaporizer extracts, vaping extracts is like pretty far down the list. 0 search volume, no traffic, no cost per click, no advertisers, not registered in any other extension. And so I'm not going to say that it's worthless, but it's not promising. You know, you probably put like a $2,500 buy it now and cross your fingers and say a few prayers.
And would you renew it, or you'd let it expire?
Yeah, I'd probably renew it. I mean, yeah, it's probably worth renewing.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Joe, what are your thoughts?
Well, my high level thoughts are I don't like the portfolio at all, but you know, if I had to dig a little bit deeper, I mean, this is just not what I focus on. This is just not my forte. There are a couple 2 words in here that might be brandable. Beauty Genius is okay, and you know, there might be a little bit of upside there. You know, looking over the list, I'll agree with Drew here. Emerging artists, I think, is probably arguably the best name on this list. I don't like goatees or whatever that is. I'm just not a huge fan of anything on here. I think that, you know, to create liquidity, you know, the best chance here would be that emerging artist name as well. I agree with that. I'm just not a huge fan here. Nothing jumping out.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
I mean, I would. My personal recommendation to this domain, to the portfolio owner, is to go through this with a fine-tooth comb and, you know, get rid of some of these names that there's no chance he's ever going to have a chance of selling.
Okay, what would you say are 3 you would absolutely not renew?
I mean, all the ones on the bottom, I don't like any of them. Marijuana.li, what the hell is that? C.net.in or sex, I can't even see it. Sex.net.in, I get rid of. Voters Online, I mean, all this stuff just doesn't, in my opinion, has no inherent value. The gentleman that I'm working with today might disagree, but they just don't do it for me personally.
Okay. What do you mean? The gentleman you're working with?
Yeah, these 2 guys, Hobi and Drew. What do you mean?
Oh,
Don't be a gentleman.
No, we're vagabonds. Come on now. Don't talk us up. Don't set false expectations.
88.cash. Do you think that's an attempt at, you know, the Chinese interest in numbers or gaming, or what do you think is happening there? And wouldn't it be 888?
Listen, Mama once told me don't argue with fools because people from a distance can't tell who's who.
Or he got a hold of some really good cannabis and he didn't share it with the other people that are, you know, I mean, that's always possible too.
All right. How about you, Hobi? What do you think? You know, 1-800-bowling.com.
No, yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of brandables, just kind of 2 words put together. I mean, there's obviously, you know, there's thought behind it. I mean, some of them I can see like where they're coming from. One I know personally that I know I'm not a fan of is China Motorsports. Typically because when you buy motorsports from China, it's because they're cheaper and they're not very good quality. So I mean, I can tell you from personal experience. I've replaced blown engines. I've done all kinds of stuff with, you know, Chinese off-roading vehicles, and it's just not really worth it. I mean, I could see something like that as a wholesaler calling themselves that, but that sounds like more of a hand registration reason than it does in like a secondary acquisition. I mean, yeah, if someone came to me and asked me to help them sell these, I'd just tell them not really something I could help with. I mean, make sure you list them on all the platforms, throw your landing pages on it, do your best to try to maximize the money you have put into it. But these really aren't anything.
Yeah.
Like maybe photoramic, because it's a single word, it's a brandable, and it's a play on panoramic, which is an image setting, and photoramic is a cool brandable. But as far as liquidity, I just don't. Yeah, I don't see you being able to. If you want to turn around and pay some bills or something, I don't see you being able to sell these in the immediate future.
Yeah. So if he listed these with buy it now prices, what would you say for Photoramic, sinfulflavors.com?
Well, you know, I mean, there's maximizing return, but there's also where your investment strategy is. And typically when you see portfolio like this, there's not really any single word generics or anything that typically has a higher commonly associated value. I would argue the strategy is probably going to be get cash as quick as you can and flip them. So I would probably more along the lines of price to sell them. I mean, I know, you know, Drew, you had said kind of a little more on emerging artists because it's a great name. You know, it's best name in the portfolio, but I would probably say sub 5K buy nows on most of these. Just sell them, see what you can, monitor traffic, what interest you have, and then make the call on them and just move on because it's just less. And again, I haven't looked at end users for every single one of these domain names, so there could be something I'm missing, and I would definitely make sure you do that before perhaps implementing that pricing strategy. But a sub 5K buy now, so just, you know, with the idea that I'm looking to sell these as fast as I can to move on to the next investment and, you know, perhaps hone it for more of an acquisition to resell versus a registration to resell.
Okay. All right. That's great advice, especially with regard to the timing. So move through these fast, see what you can get, and try to, you know, just elevate each time that you do that, right?
Yeah, and it's just I'm assuming that's where his strategy is that, I mean, I don't know, he may have just a kick-ass portfolio of names that he sells $50, $100 million every quarter or something. But most of the time when I get portfolios that are typically consisting of, you know, the alternate extensions and things like that, it's usually not where the strategy is. And it's a lot easier to make decisions when you have sales coming in versus when you have no funds coming in. So I'm always a proponent of, and you know, obviously not selling things at a fire sale per se, but just a proponent of having more income coming in, because it's just a lot easier to make accurate and more macro decisions when you have the data and the funds to do so. So that's probably where I kind of price this from.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. It's easier to make sales when you have money coming in. Yeah. Good point. Okay, so Ron, thank you so much.
So, like, it's easier to find it. You know, it's easier to find a girlfriend when you've already got one.
I mean, you know.
Wow.
You've proven the concept. You're like, yeah, you know, I can do this girlfriend thing. Oh, okay.
Well, no, it's just it's something that I tell people every day when I'm trying to sell domains. Humans want what other humans want, period. And so
Correct.
whether it's, you know, women want a man that other women want, right? It's built into us genetically. It's you know, it's not just women. Men want women that other men want, right? Same thing. Companies want domains that other companies want. The moment you've got a serious offer on a domain, the landscape completely changes. Companies that previously said no, you should circle back, because suddenly they're interested because one of their competitors or somebody who's competing with them for that namespace in the digital economy wants it. And so now by default, they must want it, because if they don't, they're just conceding defeat. So it's true. It's true. I made a whatever. I won't even go there.
Come on. You already teased us with Walrus. You got to go somewhere, Drew. Come on.
I made a very provocative tweet today. There's a company called Firefly, who I might have even already shit on this program before. It's out of San Francisco. They're like a display advertising company. They're growing super fast. They just announced today that they raised $30 million. And the founder, who wasn't very kind to me, not that it bothered me in any way whatsoever, but it just, you know, put him right in the crosshairs of my whatever. So anyways, I saw that tweet and I just couldn't help myself. So I said, congratulations. It's too bad you guys dropped the ball on acquiring Firefly.com. Now it's been sold and it's off the market forever. You know, it's that's it. You know, it's like that other company that bought it. The only reason they bought it was like, oh, there's this other company. They're growing super fast. But like, we're not even a consumer facing business, but we don't want them to own it. So we bought it, you know, end of story.
No.
Full stop, you know,
No.
that's it. Yeah, if you're on the wrong side of that,
That can be rough.
you end up with provocative tweets.
Yeah. Nice.
Sure.
Okay, well, Ron, thank you so much for submitting your portfolio for the entire Sherpa network to learn here. I hope the review's been helpful to you, and keep in touch. And, you know, I do want to say most of the folks who send in their portfolios do keep in touch, and it's nice to hear and see them grow and evolve. Before we jump into the domains going to auction soon, I'd like to tell you about our sponsors who support us in our educational mission.
FD was built by domain investors to increase your inquiries, sales, and profit. Forget spreadsheets and archived emails. Manage your entire investment portfolio in one place using a secure and completely confidential platform. Learn more at ft.com. That's EFTY, ft.com.
So we'll move on now to the marketplace list. This segment is sponsored by NameJet. We're reviewing domain names heading to auction soon. If you like one of the names below, click through soon, because once they go to auction, you lose your chance to put on a minimum bid or even just watch what's going on in the auction. The links below go directly to NameJet. We don't like do commission or something like that. They want to know what kind of traffic we're sending. For transparency, I always ask Sherpas, do you own or are you brokering any of the names on the list, guys?
No.
All right.
Hold on. I don't think so, but actually, no. Mm-mm.
All right.
No.
Now, I'm not sure what percent. Some of these are going to be in the live auction in Portugal in 2 weeks.
What's the commission on that?
What?
What's the commission on that? How much is Monty making on commission on those deals?
I don't know. We'll have Monty on next
what?
week, and I'll make sure to show him your face along with your.
Yeah, I want to know. I'm curious after the last
Wait,
conference.
what's the question?
The question is, how much commission does Red of the Dot make per name that's listed on NameJet? That's the question.
I think it's 10, right?
I don't know about that. It was a little higher last time around.
Well, so the commission charged to the seller is 25%, but they've got to pay NameJet, they've got to pay NamesCon, and in some cases where like a broker or some third party brings a buyer or introduces a buyer, they have to pay a commission to that person too. So I think, you know,
That
I think
could be
it's
a lot of money.
but I think it's probably 10 to 12%, you know, something like that.
And I know they've.
I don't know, but I'm just.
Yeah, and they've put a lot into these live auctions in terms of reaching out to so many end users, letting them know about it, and I think you know.
And Reddit also covers the cost of the auctioneer and his travel, you know.
Right. Sure.
And there's a software provider that does the live auction, and that's pretty expensive. I know, like, the bar for them to make it profitable, they need to sell a pretty decent number of domains in terms of dollars.
I would think.
Yeah. All right, so we got some great names on here: audio.com, thriller.com, arizonahomes.com, hippie.com, and pizzadeliveries.com, just a few. All right, Hobi, you're up first. What do you like?
Well, obviously, I think audio is probably the best. It's just such a good way to convey it. There's so many brands on it. I mean, audio, everybody likes music. You have audiophiles that love, just invest in headphones and blow money on audio related equipment. You have, I mean, I was reading an article like a year or two ago that guitars aren't cool anymore, and that everything's electric, which I agree, and it's all about your audio, what you can put out. But an audio could be a CRM, it could be anything, and it's just sometimes you run into words that are too generic, and it can actually be kind of hard to sell them just because of how generic they are. But audio, I don't think you'd really have that problem. I mean, it's easily a six-figure name. 7, you know, I had to think. I mean, it's definitely 6. Could you get 7 figures for audio? Maybe. I mean, I think the right buyer engages. Yeah, because I mean, music is easily 7. I mean, music's definitely, music encompasses a little bit more, but audio, it could be a streaming service, it could be Spotify, it could be just so many things. So audio is clearly my favorite. Of the others that are on there, let me pull it up.
I like audio better than music. What do you guys think is more valuable?
Music. I like music better.
No, music's huge.
Yeah,
music. I
bet you it gets crazy direct type in too.
Tons.
Yeah, no, okay. I like music better, but I mean, I just lost the sheet. Yeah, no, audio is great.
The one I would like the most is tunes.com because I think it just has insane amounts of typing traffic.
Tunes?
TOONS?
No. TUNES.
TUNES.
Yeah, but you like that better than audio?
Not as a brand, but I like it better as an investment just because it's going to have an endless amount of typing traffic from iTunes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I haven't used an Apple product since I don't remember when, so that didn't even cross the radar with me.
You're better off.
Yeah.
Like you're better off never trying crack cocaine.
Oh, yeah. You had ran into an issue with like your laptop. I think I saw a tweet. Your laptop like melted or bricked or something.
Oh God, don't.
All right, I'm sorry about that. We can move on.
That was there wasn't a lot of wit behind the tweets that went into that issue.
No.
Let's stick with Firefly tweets.
All right. Yeah, I mean, outside of that, I don't usually. So the GTLDs can be a bit rough, but because it's really not .com. But of the not .coms, you have .orgs I like a lot. CCTLDs I really do like. It's just I'm not the expert in those. Like houses.co.uk, I don't sell houses in the UK, or I don't reside in the UK, so I'm not the best on that. But outside of audio, I think I probably like houses.co.uk. I had to check to make sure that house is, or they refer when you're buying and selling houses or marketplaces, they actually call them houses. I know when you rent, it's usually called like to let or something like that. Letting is like the vernacular that's used. So
yeah, and
I think I like houses.
Rentals.
What do they say instead? Oh, holiday rentals, you're saying, right?
I think you need to have this conversation with an accent.
No way. I'm not going to butcher the British accent. If I had a little more prep time, maybe I'd look myself in the mirror.
All right. Next time, Hobi. Next time.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. You do have to be cautious about the different vernacular, how they use it. But what were we talking about on the last show? There was with Jebediah, there was something .co.uk and I'm going to look it up real quick. But I do think in .co.uk can sell real well on that. Oh, offices.co.uk. So, yeah, maybe houses. Okay. So those are your two favorites, Audible and houses. So Audible, you think, 6 figures. Oh, audio. So audio, you think 6 figures.
Well, six, maybe 7 to the right buyer, yeah. And houses, I like it just because I can, Blue Wireless, like BL, that domain was actually sold to a British company. They were using the .co.uk. So it's, there's definitely a domain buying community, and there's an immediate need for consumer, B2B, in the UK. I mean, just because again, I should have done more research into this, but like houses, if that's the term that's used over there and how it's engaged with buying and selling homes, I think, yeah, it's 6, mid 6 figures on that one, probably. I have to check more into it, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a 6-figure name.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Thanks, Hobi. Drew, you're up.
So, yeah, audio is definitely, my favorite name on the list. I think it's also the most valuable. But I won't harp on that one too much. I think I like celebrity photos. I mean, there's a lot of great names on here. It really comes down to what's the reserve, and can you get it at a price that makes sense as an investor? But 4m.com, I like that name a lot. People don't realize, many people don't realize, but these 2-character.coms are even more rare than 2-letter.coms. Obviously, I think there's far more end users and potential for a 2-letter.com than there is a two-character. But just from a pure scarcity standpoint, the 2-character.coms are extremely scarce. They're the second most scarce class of domain names after, I guess third most scarce class of domain names after 1-character.coms and or 1-letter.coms, because numbers aren't possible, and 2-number.coms, of which there's only 10, or 11, including 00. So yeah, I like 4M. I like that a lot. Celebrity photos, look, that's just a huge category. It's like, how many people waste half their life looking up celebrity photos online?
I know. I was just looking up Justin Bieber.
Yeah. So it's also got a lot of typing traffic, which is always a bonus. I like Thriller.com a lot, but I think it's one of these tricky names, because probably like 90% of the people searching for Thriller are searching for like the Michael Jackson video. It's like probably the most famous music video in history, other than maybe like Put 'Em on the Glass. And so, yeah, I think, what else do I like here? Oh, I really like Bob.tv. Don't ask me why. I have no clue. For whatever reason, it just, the word Bob, the name Bob is just like the best name ever. Especially if you're like a robot or an AI, or like, it's like just Bob. It's like, it cannot be more generic and like global and just neutral. It's not intimidating. Just Bob. It's like, who's scared of Bob? Huh? Yeah, terribly hard to spell, but still. Yeah, so I don't know. I like Bob.tv. I really like that.
That's funny.
I like that name.
I wouldn't have expected that. It makes me think of Bob Ross, and who's that other? The Fix-It. Who's that Fix-It guy?
Oh
my God! You know what? I bet Bob Ross videos. I bet those are like in the public domain now, and like how
they're a big deal.
Yeah, I would just like live streaming of Bob Ross videos. I would even make that into like, it's like, forget about Calm and Headspace. We've got Bob.tv. It's like, you want to relax. You want to zone out. Get in your head. Come over to Bob.tv and watch some happy trees.
I like it.
Here, why not?
God, you just talk. I'm going all in on this name.
All right, I want to see it. You're gonna have
domain brokerage is done. I'm going Bob.tv. We're gonna distribute Bob Ross videos worldwide.
Okay, I mean, for real, if somebody listened to this and said, you know what, Drew has a point here, what's a reasonable price to pay?
You don't want to get into it for much. I mean, probably $1,000 max. And, I don't think it's going to be liquid for much above that. And then, I don't know what it would sell for, but maybe I think 10 to 25,000 is probably the upper limit of where that's going to sell.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Joe, what catches your eye?
3 names on this list. I'd start with audio. I think audio could be arguably the best.
Wait, hey Joe, what happened?
All of a sudden,
how come you're far away?
I don't know.
Like we can't hear you the same.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. How about now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
better. I think you were too far from the mic.
No, that's what it was. Sorry.
No, much better.
Okay. I like audio the best. I think you can make the case that there's another name on this list, hippie.com, which is arguably just as good, mainly because of the backlink profile. Both of these names have huge backlink profiles, and both of those are very valuable to the whoever acquires this name. Whether or not they're going to use it for a brand or not, there's considerable value and upside there. Audio.com, I like it at $375K. I think that's a good end user price. I don't think it's $1 million domain name. I would not take it for $1 million or higher personally. Thriller.com is a good name, but again, what do you do with it? People aren't searching Thriller unless they're going for the Thriller video. That's really all that's out there. And if you look at the search volume, that'll tell you that. I like it for $65K. I think that's a good buy. Anything more than that, I would not spend the money on. And the last one on this list is Hippie. Hippie has a very good backlink profile. It's a good name. It has good search volume. It's a good brand. There's a lot of upside, a lot of good uses for that name. I like it around 2.25. You could probably get it a little bit lower, and I think it's a good buy anywhere between 150 and 2.25.
I like how specific you are, Joe.
Yeah.
What do you think of wedding loans? You're so specific. I think that's super. Weddingloans.com. Talk about a niche. What do you think of that one?
Okay. I mean, I think there is a business out there for wedding loans. I don't know how many people are typing in wedding loans. I'd need to do some more research around the keyword. I'm not huge on the two-word.coms unless it's category specific and targeting a niche that's very popular and in demand right now. Weddings, people always have weddings and they're always borrowing money because people have trouble paying their bills. So there is some value there. I mean, wedding loans, 25K at the most.
Okay. Hobi, you like your toys, electricmotorcycles.com. What do you think on that?
Electric motorcycles, 2words.com. Electric motorcycle. Isn't it more electric bikes the keyword that people usually use when they're referring to things like that? And motorcycles, I mean, even in the off-road community, like
An oxymoron.
Yeah, but even in the off-road community, they have electric vehicles. It's just the issue with something like that is just the longevity of the battery. So it's just you couldn't go far distances, which is a big concern for off-roading. So it's electric motorcycles. I mean, maybe 10 years too early on that one, to be honest with you. I mean, I think we just converted electricity into a portable fuel, like a liquid substance, but actually might change the game. But I don't know, man. Electric motorcycles. Can you even buy an electric motorcycle right now? Outside of like an actual, just more of a.
Totally. Here in Lisbon, I mean, you got
But like, when you say a motorcycle, I mean, what type? When you're saying a motorcycle, is it like an actual motorcycle or more of a souped-up moped?
Well, I mean,
big difference. That's a big difference.
But when you start getting into it's a big difference when you're talking about gasoline engines. But when you start talking about electric, it's kind of more like just it's about form. I don't really. How would you define a motorcycle?
I would say, so there is a textbook definition which I'm not aware of, but like, I mean, it's
two wheels.
I'd say more. It's two wheels. You have to be able to shift. Well, actually, you don't shift electric.
Okay, but it actually, if I may say so, I think it doesn't matter. All that matters is who's searching for it. So, I mean, the exact.
No, okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. But I don't think. I mean, I've never searched for an electric motorcycle. I mean, isn't electric bikes that people more search for, and it's usually more commonly associated with bikes.
Yeah, but if you say electric bike, then you're gonna get like an electric bicycle, right?
But that's what I'm saying. Is that not? My assumption. I guess I'm not the expert in that.
No, because you've got these electric motorcycles that go, 80, 100 miles an hour.
Okay. Well, are there multiple brands? Are there multiple brands?
I have no idea. I think they're all out of China.
Oh, okay. I'm out. I'm out. If they're Chinese electric, I'm serious. I'm out because it's no. I mean, unless China's changed up their entire nature of their vehicles, no. I 10K. I'm out. I had to research a little more into it, but I don't like that name.
All right. I think
Chinese now.
We need to do a Sherpa off-roading or something.
Segway is all Chinese. because they got bought by Ninebot after the founder of Segway took himself off the cliff on a Segway.
Yeah. I read about that. I didn't know they were bought by a Chinese company.
Yeah. Ninebot.
Electric motorcycles, there's some search volume there. There's some search volume and very high competition. It's a pretty good keyword. Pretty good.
Yep, it is.
Huh.
Good one.
So it looks
More
like
than
something for.
you all think. It's more than able to think.
Electric motorcycle. Let me search this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
I
big
mean,
search.
All right, I will ask
That's awesome.
Monty about it when he comes on to talk about the show. Drew, before we say goodbye, I want to know about this hot tea market. You have never mentioned that on Sherpa.
Yes, I have.
What? The tea market is hot?
Yeah, but it's not like suddenly. It's like kind of been, it's like caught. I mean, it's just a very fast growing market. It's kind of like Switch, right? So the coffee market is blowing up in Asia, which was traditionally a tea market. And the tea market is blowing up in the United States, which was traditionally more a coffee market. And so both, basically just, it's all about caffeine. I mean, if we've got this global economic system that is derived from and 1000% depends on growth in every form, we need some kind of substance to help drive growth, and caffeine is that substance.
And online, it's just like coffee. So the online aspect of tea brands and tea domains, it's about
Well, it doesn't even necessarily have to be somebody selling online. It just, if you're a brand, you got to have a brand presence online. And so even if you're not direct to consumer, you need a brand.
All right. Well, I've just discovered how much I love green coffee, which I feel like it's because it's got green. I don't know. I've always been a tea drinker, and I am switching because I need more caffeine. As Drew knows from my emails until like 1 a.m. All right, guys, this was a great show. Who's going to Portugal?
No takers.
All right, guys, we will miss.
Are you going to Portugal?
Yeah, it's a journey for me, but I'm going to do it. I think it's going to be fun.
I'm sure it will. Sure.
Yeah, quickest commute you've ever had.
It is legit though. It's actually going to be super fun. We have no vested interest other than we've supported them with a sponsorship, but I'm pretty excited that NamesCon is going to do their first European show in Lisbon, Portugal. I think that it's a perfect fit. I think it's the perfect city for it. And I think everybody that does come is going to be blown away by what a cool city Lisbon is. I think everybody's going to have a super good time. I am privy to the agenda, and it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be some good content, but this is going to be, if I can take the liberty to say, I think it's going to be focused on fun and networking and the people, and it's going to be super cool. The Saturday is going to be awesome. So yeah, if you are on the fence, you should totally come. Maybe in the show notes, we've got a promo code for you. I don't know. Tess, do you know?
I think we could come up with one.
Probably it's like DomainSherpa. I don't know.
Guess. Viewers guess.
Just guess. I bet it works. But if we find one, we'll put it in the show notes. I think they gave us one. So I apologize, NamesCon, if you did do that. So yeah, see everybody there that comes.
I'll actually, when I create the intro to this show, I'll say what the promo is right there.
Perfect.
All right. What's going on? Joe Hobi, shout out to what's going on in your life. Joe, you want to go first?
Just looking forward to summer, looking forward to spending more time with the family as usual, and everything's good, For more information about anything that I'm doing or up to, you can always check out nameexperts.com. Certainly appreciate you having me on the show, and look forward to coming back at a later time.
Yeah, it's a treat to have you. You working on any interesting acquisitions or sales that you want to talk about right now?
I'd never jinx anything. I like to talk to
Yeah.
people when it's done and not before. A deal is never done until it's done.
All right, all about the stealth. Okay. How about you, Hobi?
Yeah, I mean, looking forward to getting my house completed, which I've been working on since November, and I can taste it, I can see it almost done. So I'm very, very excited for that. Just have domains we're working on: motion.com, cambridge.com, everest.com, erupt.com, patriotic.com, castle.com. So, just gonna keep on trucking.
Those are all sales, your outbound brokering?
Correct. Those are all domains that we have available for sale.
Okay, erupt.com. I love that.
I'm a big fan of that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Really?
All right. Yeah. Drew,
What do
how
you like
about you?
about it?
What's
Just
up?
tell me quick. Just real quick. What do you like about Erupt?
Oh, it's a generic. It's a single word. It conveys just like an emotion. It's just an action. It's a verb. It's a noun. Or rather, it's not a noun, but it's a verb. It's just such a good brand. You can be erupt this. You are exploding onto the scene. Like I love it. It's just like it's a great, fantastic brand. It just conveys such exuberance. You don't have. What do you do? We're erupt brokerage. I love it, dude. Love it.
Yeah.
You don't like
it?
it?
Doesn't do that for me. No.
No, I
don't like it.
I disagree. I like it.
I'm gonna withhold my thoughts on that name.
I like the excitement, and I like that it makes you think of disrupt. But there is, a certain segment that would never be interested because it sounds uncontrollable. And that's the great thing about a brand, is that it suits certain segments and not others, and depending on what it conveys.
It's not the thoughts that I have.
Yeah, Drew, shut up.
You can have words too that have a negative connotation. I don't think erupt has that, but you can have a word that has a negative.
Nobody's saying anything about negative.
No. But what I'm saying is, you can have a term a brand that has, or a word that has a negative connotation. It can be used in a positive way. So it's you can do all kinds of things with certain words and names, things like that.
Yeah.
True.
Drew, anything else you want to say about NamesCon Portugal, or anything else going on with media options?
Well, we're having a hell of a month. I think this is, I'd say the last 30 days. So all the work was done in May, but I think most of these deals are going to close in June. So June is probably going to be our best month in the history of the company. We've a couple of outliers there, but still just a very strong number of big deals closed. So I'm pretty excited about the market. I think, this is going to be a year like last year we had, last year Q1 and Q4 made up like 70% of our year. Maybe even 80%. And I think it's going to be Q2 and Q4 this year will probably make up 80% plus of the year. So, we're busting our butts, things are going to start slowing down, like Joe said, in July, August. And so I'm looking forward to slowing it down a little bit. I've been working harder than I really want to be working. And, very excited about NamesCon, very excited about all my friends and enemies from the domain industry coming over to Lisbon to, frolic. And it's going to be fun. And what else? That's it.
Okay, Sherpa Network, that's my commitment to you. I will be sending you pictures of Drew frolicking.
How do you frolic? I will attempt it. How do you frolic? Anybody know?
I don't know, but I feel like shout out to Josh Eisenhower for his amazing, random, I don't even know what you call them. They're not memes. They're like Photoshop. Josh.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. He has serious talent. Yeah, he's talented. He is.
He is very talented.
His meme game is it's up there. It's like Michael Jordan.
Places you just would never go.
Yeah. He's up there. He's got A game. His meme game is A level.
Bring it on, Josh. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time coming on here. We will miss you in Portugal while we are frolicking. But we'll see you probably next time on the show. Congrats on the house, Hobi. Send us updates, Joe.
Thank you,
Enjoy
I
your
will.
summer. All right. See y'all next time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.